Hello, my name is Maya Herrera and this is my reference interview analysis presentation. I hope you enjoy. When I initially was thinking of the question I wanted to ask, I knew that I wanted something that I had already previously researched and knew enough about that when it came time to it, I could analyze the sources that the librarians were giving me and really concentrate on narrowing down why they were useful or whether they weren't. And I wanted to have a topic that was both big and broad and learn something new if I could possibly learn anything new from this topic. But I've had mixed experiences in the past where reference librarians haven't been super helpful, but I have had some success in that area. The question I wanted to ask was, can you help me look for information on Irish leaders in the early 20th century, specifically during Easter Rising? This topic is very vague, particularly because there's no correct way to define what a leader was during this time and the turmoil that was going on in this particular era for the Irish Republic. That is why I would consider this topic very vague, and I hope to see what the librarians had in store for me. That Moving forward, the pros and cons of two chats. Part 1. The first chat was the Chicago Public Library. It lasted a grand total of 10 minutes. Right next to it, as you can see, is the transcript of the official chat between me and the librarian. My thoughts afterwards were somewhat confused, a little mixed. The information was somewhat informative. Would I use it again? Maybe. If I needed to use this source again, I probably would. Not 100% sure if it would be helpful, but definitely use it again because the librarian was actually pretty kind. Because I felt that the interview was somewhat informative and a little short, I decided to get a second source. Well, a second opinion. And that opinion will be, moving forward, the second chat will be the Rebecca Crown Library. As you can see, the official transcript is right there. The duration of the interview lasted about 18 minutes, and my thoughts were pretty negative overall. They were not very helpful. They kept me waiting at least 9 minutes. I had to ask I will say that if I have to ask, are you still there? That is very worrisome. If any librarian had done this, it is very worrisome to keep a patron waiting. And afterwards, I didn't really feel like engaging with the librarian, so I was kind of trying to wrap up the interview pretty quickly after that. I would not use this format again. Not in general, just for the Rebecca Crown Library, just because I found them rather dismissive and sort of not helpful at all. For my face-to-face interview, I knew I wanted to interview a librarian at the Harold Washington Library on the 6th floor. Because this is such a catered topic to history, I knew that's where I'd find the answer. For my face-to-face interview, the face-to-face interview at Harold Washington Library was overall successful. At first, the librarian seemed a little condescending, but after she started to explain what subject search were and how to use the keyword search, I started to understand how to use them to find the sources that I needed. She definitely suggested databases like JSTOR and the historical database for the modern world, biographical content for world leaders. It was a very mostly kind of do-it-yourself vibe, I would say is the best way to describe it. But she definitely did help me, not technically by showing me where the reference sources would be, but definitely how to search in the online catalog, which I think is severely very important. Overall, the reference interview was a positive experience, despite the minor mishap with one of the chats. I do feel that librarians still have a long way to go in terms of how they treat their patrons. I feel that they need to be more understanding of where they're at, especially because not everyone has the same education and not everyone has the same research abilities. And I definitely think a positive attitude helps. Because we're with patrons all day, or because they're with patrons all day, I should say, it makes it difficult to kind of distinguish how to treat different individuals, I would say. But mostly just keep your head up and love what you do is the best advice I can give. But that has been my reference interview, and thank you again.